You're talking about ghosts?
Yes.
Ghosts are frightening, but some things are haunting. You want an example?
Sure.
So I got mugged in a cab in Toronto once. In a cab. I was leaving a party at around 3 in the morning in a not particularly great area, and I realized that there were a lot of guys standing around, a lot of really pale, weedy looking guys, just hanging out. And one of them came up to me and asked me if I wanted to buy some hash. I said, thank you, no. And then there were a lot of guys kind of getting around me to try to sell me something or take my money without actually selling me anything. So I got in a cab. The cab was going up Jarvis Street in Toronto, and all of a sudden we hear these two women screaming at the top of their lungs, chasing after the cab, waving their arms. So the cabbie stops. The women jump in the car, left and right side. I'm in the back seat. I'm now between them. And they're saying, we're going to have a party. We're going to have a party tonight. We're going to have a party. Hey, dude, you're going to have a party. Hey, let me see what you got. And puts her hand on my crotch. So I bend over like this, and I'm saying, thank you, no, I don't need a party. Don't do this. And they're grabbing me, and it's loud, and they're yelling, and the driver's trying to drive. And I reach my wallet and notice it's gone. And then they start screaming again. And they open the door of the moving cab, which is at around 30 kilometers an hour, and they jump out of the cab.
What?
So I'm sitting there, kind of dazed. The cabbie pulls over. My wallet is back on the seat without its cash. Because if you get caught with credit cards, you get in big trouble. Cash, who cares? We sat there and stared at each other, and finally he said, I'll just take you home. That was delightful. And it was frightening, but I don't dwell on it because it's over. And I knew why it happened. You know, find a sucker, scream, make a lot of fuss, grab the money, and take off. It's a very black and white situation. I know why it happened. It doesn't haunt me. You want something that does?
Yes.
This is a true story. I was around 17 years old. It was around February, so it's cold and miserable in Toronto. I live in North York, which is like the north side of the city. And it's about 10 o'clock, and I get a phone call, which is a bit late for most of my friends. I pick it up, and somebody says, hi, is this Michael? Yeah, it's me. This is Rachel. I met you at Dave and Pete's barbecue. Okay, well, I know David and Pete, and they had parties. I don't remember a barbecue, but I knew those names. I said, oh, okay, hi. How'd you get my number? She said, do you still live close to St. Andrews? That was my junior high. Okay, yeah, I did. I said yes, and she said, oh, do you like to party? Because I'm downtown tonight, and maybe we could party. Okay, this is weird. It's late enough at night, I'm not really thinking about it. And we make some small talk. At one point she says, do you like to get high, Mike? Because we could get high. I'm like, no, I don't know. How'd you get my number? And then she said, we could go downtown. We could have sex. In those words. And I start laughing. Okay, this is a joke. I mean, one of my moron friends is behind this, and he's gotten his girlfriend or his sister or something to make the call. And I'm listening really carefully, but I don't hear anything in the background. Like, I don't hear my moron friends giggling. It's quiet. I mean, I don't even hear street noises or a fan or a TV or nothing. I'm not going to go meet this woman. But I'm kind of curious as to what she's going to do. So I said, where do you want to meet? And she said, do you know the Fountain Eaton Center? Yeah, it's right downtown, I knew it. I said, yeah. And she said, you can meet me at the lockers. Okay. This is not going to make sense unless you grew up in Toronto, but this is where the story got scary for me. They've renovated the Eaton Center a dozen times since the 1980s, but at one point, there was this hallway that was full of lockers and full of payphones. And there was a dead end at the end of it. I mean, tourists would always walk thinking it would take them to Yonge Street, and they'd have to turn around. So I knew where she wants me to go. And I said, well, don't you just want to meet at the fountain? And she said, just the lockers, okay? So this woman I don't know, who I can't identify, at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night has just invited me into a well-lit, climate-controlled, blind alley. And I'm sure it's a friend of mine making a joke, and I'm trying to catch up to this. And again, she says, we can have sex, Michael. I'm laughing and I'm nervous, and I finally said, you know what? I've got homework tonight. And that's the only time she almost broke character. She said, you've got homework? I said, yeah. Maybe call me another time. Okay. Goodbye, Michael. I said, bye, Rachel. Held the phone, and she never hung up. I was there for like a minute waiting for her to hang up, and finally I hung up. Okay. I go to school the next week. I dig up Pete and I dig up Dave and say, what the hell? Dave was at his cottage. His brother backed it up. He didn't do it. Pete did not have that much of a sense of humor or imagination to do this. So it was somebody else, right? And it was some other friend of mine who probably were downtown with some girl. They made the call from a paid phone. They wanted me to go downtown, wearing my cool jeans, expecting some action. I'd walk into the hallway, they'd see me, they'd laugh their head off, and we'd go play video games until 2 in the morning and take a bus home. I can see that. But the other alternative is that maybe it was someone who wanted me to get downtown and was not friendly and would do something unpleasant to me. I don't know who would do that. And I mention this because it haunts me. I mean, it was a prank, right? It's got to have been a prank. Somebody set it up, the joke didn't land, and they never admitted to it. But I talked about it for years. I would ask people about it for years. The only reason I stopped, I think I was in university, because somebody said, Mike thinks he avoided an assassination attempt because some girl tried to hook up with him once. I don't know what happened, but for the record, I'm over 50 and I still have nightmares about that hallway. And it's not like I walk past it in the dream and something reaches out, pulls me in to rape or murder me. But it's there. It shows up in a bad dream. I've gotten close to it, and when it's there, I know that something's going wrong. Once or twice, I have been dragged into it, but the shock wakes me up. So you want to tell me that this is some kind of ghost? I don't think I can believe you. The rational part of me can't believe you. The rational part of me wants to accept the fact that there is a 99.9% chance that some friend of mine tried to do this, it didn't work, it never mentioned it. I love that alternative. You tell me that, I'll be a very happy man. Because the other alternative is to realize that somebody I can't identify knew my name, my phone number, knew where I lived, maybe knew one or two of my friends, and invited me someplace I couldn't get out of late enough at night that nobody would hear what happened. It never goes away. Thanks for your time. Good night.
Michael Dorbecker, everyone.